welcome to Stock Trek Space Day Saturdays. Try saying that 5 times. Anyways, welcome to Space Day Saturdays, and this Saturday we are going to go over one of my favorite space stocks, Rocket Lab, ticker symbol RKLB. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the company. We're going to go over some of their accomplishments that they have achieved so far. And then we're going to go into the fun stuff. We are going to talk about, their future. Where are they going? What are their plans? Where do I see the stock headed? And can't wait to get started. Let's go.
4, ignition, 3, 2, 1.
So they were founded in 2006, and they have several locations. They have a launch pad with 2 launch pads actually in New Zealand, and then they have another launch pad in Wallops Island, Virginia, United States. So yay, they are in the US, and they are also in New Zealand, which is really cool because let me tell you what, their launch pad site, super cool. It looks like Lord of the Rings, literally. I mean, you see that place that's set on that cliff. It has the beautiful sea view. If there's anywhere I would ever want to visit to go watch a rocket launch, it would definitely have to be in Mahia, New Zealand, at the Rocket Lab launch pad. So let's dive into some of their accomplishments that they've done so far. They have done 21 launches, 105 satellites, and they have their small sat launch vehicle called Electron. And the reason why I chose to cover Rocket Lab, why I chose to invest in Rocket Lab, is because the company is amazing. I mean, think about it. They are basically right behind SpaceX. There is no other company that I could think of that's publicly traded, that is this close to doing what SpaceX is doing. And SpaceX, with Elon Musk at the helm, they've done a lot of accomplishments. But SpaceX is not a publicly traded company. I will let you in on one secret, though. Don't tell anybody. You can inadvertently buy shares of SpaceX if you own Google stock. Yep. Because Google invested in SpaceX. They were one of their, early investors, and they own, a pretty decent chunk of percentage of SpaceX. So by by investing in Google stock, not only are you getting like all their little subsidiary companies like YouTube, Google, all that, but you're also getting, a little bit of SpaceX return on that. Not everybody knows that. So keep it hush. But that's an inadvertent way that you can invest in SpaceX, because right now they're not public, and honestly, Elon has talked about it. I don't think he has plans to take the actual SpaceX company public ever. So Rocket Lab is the next best thing. They are the 4th most frequently launched rocket company in the world. Okay, you got China, number 1. You want to invest in China?
Let's say China. China has an overall goal, and I don't criticize them for the goal, but they have an overall goal to become the leading country in the world, the wealthiest country in the world, and the most powerful country in the world. It's not going to happen on my watch.
But yeah, no. China's number 1 right now, believe it or not. And you have SpaceX, and all that, and then in comes Rocket Lab. So Rocket Lab is in amongst the top rocket launchers in the entire world, which is really cool. Now, a lot of you might have heard of the other rocket launch company called Astra. Am I invested in Astra? No, I'm not. Right now, Rocket Lab is my one and only. It's like, it's my little gem, it's my jewel. But the reason why I have not invested in Astra, I'm not saying that they don't have potential. I really want all space companies to succeed, because the more space companies that succeed, then the farther along we get as society to become, you know, a spacefaring society. And to open up space to not just these rich billionaires and millionaires, but to open it up to everyday people like you and me. So do I want Astra to succeed? I do, as a company. Am I currently investing in them? No, because they're not quite as far as Rocket Lab. They're not vertically integrated. You know, they just signed this contract with Firefly for Firefly's engines, because apparently Astra can't get it up. You know, they just can't seem to get it up in the air. I mean, they do, but they don't, because I don't know if you saw the last rocket launch, it kind of went sideways, literally, kind of like their stock. You know, it went like this, and then it went like this, and then it went, and then it went.
Absolutely hilarious. Here we have Astra, right? So let's compare this to Rocket Lab. Oh no! Where's it going? Oh my goodness! Probably like the stock, it's going sideways and then down.
And that's exactly what their stock has done, you know. So if you follow Astra's launches, you're going to realize that their stock price also follows those launches. And I right now I need something a little bit more stable, especially in this frothy market with, you know, interest rates possibly going up and, you know, stock, you know, PE multiples already through the roof. I want to invest in something that I think has potential for massive growth. It's stable, it's reliable, and it's already accomplished. And you get all that with Rocket Lab. You know, why would I need anything more than Rocket Lab? I have what I want right now. So let's go over some other things that Rocket Lab has accomplished recently. So not only have they done 21 successful launches, they put 105 satellites, you know, into orbit for, you know, big time companies and well-known corporations. You know, you have NASA. They worked with NASA, they worked with DARPA, they worked even with Spire and Planet and Black Sky, which is another publicly traded space company. So they've done a lot of collaboration with other companies. In fact, you know, they not only do they launch rockets, but they manufacture and they sell parts as well. So, you know, they're building this big facility to build all these little like reactor wheel things. And that's going to be big, because they're not just generating income from launches. They're not just depending, you know, on one income stream. They're having multiple income streams, and that's what makes a company great, is not just relying on one thing. They have many options to deliver to potential customers. Not only that, but you know, Rocket Lab has a bright future. You know, they have won so many contracts. Just recently, in the past, you know, September, they got a deal with another company, what was it, Kineas, where they're launching not just one satellite, but they're launching an entire constellation, okay? They're basically launching Orion's belt up there, you know, for this other company, which is awesome, because that's multiple launches. That is a multiple revenue generating contract right there. On top of that, they won a contract from the United States Space Force, $24 million to go into helping develop their new neutron rocket, which is going to be a medium lift payload rocket. And, you know, that is going to compete and take some of the share from SpaceX's large payload rocket with the Falcon 9. Sure, it's not a large payload. It's not Falcon 9. But it is going to give those consumers that you know, work with SpaceX and use Falcon 9, it's going to give them another option. You know, if they really don't need to launch and do a rideshare on that big of a vehicle, and yet they don't want to use this little bitty small sat launch vehicle, they have another option. The other companies, like Astra, right, they're still trying to get their little small sats up. They can't even get their small rocket launch thing up. So no, they're way behind. Not only that, but what's really cool is Peter Beck, the CEO, whom I greatly admire. And the reason why I greatly admire Peter Beck is because, you know, you get a lot of CEOs with companies, they go on their earnings calls, they do their financial reports or whatever, and, they promise the moon and, they deliver Earth. I'm not saying Earth is bad, but, when you're expecting the moon, you want to go to the moon. And, so a lot of CEOs tend to overpromise and underdeliver, and I have come to find through watching Peter Beck that he's very conservative with his estimates on what he, says is gonna happen and how soon it's gonna happen. He doesn't want to disappoint people. He wants to, underpromise and overdeliver. And I find that that's very rare to find in a CEO, because you have a lot of CEOs that are very flamboyant. Look at Elon Musk. He's a well-loved CEO, but let's face it, how long has he been saying, I'm going to get full self-driving out there?
Elon Musk is no stranger to making bold predictions on the future of autonomous cars. In an interview with ARK Invest, Musk gave a timeline of what he expects from fully autonomous cars will be ready to hit the road, actually said. Here is a clip from your guys' podcast.
My guess as to when we would think it's safe for somebody to essentially fall asleep and wake up at the destination, probably towards the end of next year.
Or I'm going to get this done. Or yeah, Cybertrucks are going to be starting deliveries next year. And it gets delayed. I'm not saying it's all his fault. The pandemic hit. We have a chip shortage. Yada, yada, yada. But the thing is that Elon Musk is very flamboyant. And a lot of people love it. He's like a great showman. But not only is he a showman, he does eventually accomplish what he says he's going to do. Eventually is the key word. Meaning, don't listen to his timelines, because his timelines are always off. But does he get the job done? Yeah, he does. I give him credit for that. He's a brilliant man. But then again, Peter Beck is very careful with his timelines that he gives. He doesn't want to, be like Elon Musk and say, yeah, we're going to have this next year, and then next year comes and it's not there. So I like Peter Beck a lot because he is, he does what he says he's going to do, and he does it in a timely manner. So if he says he's going to give the moon, I think eventually he'll give the moon in a timely manner. And I like that about Peter Beck. Also, it's not every day that you see a guy eat a hat.
First, I've got to take care of some business here. There's a lot of things at Rocket Lab that we said we were going to do that we've done. And a few things at Rocket Lab that we said we would never do, which we have also done. So I really think with this project, it's about time I finally ate the hat.
So that was kind of fun to watch. It shows that even though he's practical and he's conservative, he's not afraid to step outside the box and just do something completely out of the norm, like eating a hat. And so I like that about him a lot. So let's talk about the future now. What is the future going to look like for Rocket Lab? I think that they're going to have a bright future. I think that they're going to one day be as big as SpaceX. I mean, sure, by then SpaceX will probably be bigger, you know what I mean? But they're going to be as big one day. I really think so. With this new rocket that they're developing, the neutron rocket, they are going to be opening up a whole nother window of launch systems, for different customers. They're going to create more revenue that way, not just through the small sats, but through the medium payload. I'm really excited about that. I'm also excited about their lunar capstone mission coming up. So let's talk about their backlog, okay? Future backlog. They already have like $141 million, like in the pipeline, backed up, ready to go. Customers with contracts, ready to do their launches. So, and this is just what they have so far. So imagine the growth. Imagine what's going to come in the future between them selling, their products, their those reactor wheels, the star trackers, doing their launches. Who knows what other development contracts they may win, with Space Force or DARPA and beyond. So their potential for growth is absolutely amazing. Another thing I'm really excited about that, companies like Astra are not doing, space flight. Yeah, really the only people doing human space flight right now are SpaceX, which it's not publicly traded. Blue Origin, not publicly traded, and I don't know, I'm just not that big on Blue Origin, but I'm not saying they're bad, but I don't know. They're whatever. So you have SpaceX, you have Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic. Now, Virgin Galactic, that is a whole nother story, a whole nother video that I'm going to be making on. Am I invested in it? You'll have to wait and find out. I'm not going to give that information away, but so there's only so many companies because, like I said, Blue Origin and SpaceX are not publicly traded. Virgin Galactic is publicly traded. And so really the only like vertically up and down rocket that's going to be trading with the idea of future spaceflight in mind is Rocket Lab. And not that many people know this, but Peter Beck has said that he is designing Neutron to be human spaceflight compatible already.
It's an 8-ton class launch vehicle, and of course, it's reusable. But one thing that's probably more exciting and most unusual for Rocket Lab is that this vehicle is capable of human spaceflight. Launching 2024.
So that tells me that there is a possibility that they have human spaceflight in their plans. Who knows? Maybe they're going to be working with NASA, taking up future astronauts to the space station, or maybe they'll even surprise us. We won't even know. Maybe they'll get into space tourism and give Virgin Galactic a run for their money. I don't know. But what I do know is I'm excited, and I can't wait to see what's ahead. As far as stock price, stock price, with the SPAC stocks, because Rocket Lab is a previous SPAC, they used to be under ticker symbol QELL before they merged into RKLB. I did buy pre-merger and I bought after merger as well because I'm kind of like stockpiling here. But their performance so far compared to the other SPACs have been pretty decent. It's been pretty good. It's held up. It is above its NAV. It is above that $10 share price. It's gone as high as, in the 20s already, like 2021-ish, up in there somewhere. And then it came back down. But the thing with these SPAC stocks is one day they can gain 10%, 15%, and then another day they can drop 6%, 9%. So SPACs can be very volatile. And you have to have the stomach to handle the ups and the downs, and it's kind of like a set it and forget it type of thing for me personally, because whether it goes up or down 10%, I don't care, because what I care about is the long-term trajectory. And so far the long-term trajectory is up, and I think it'll continue to be that way, unless there's a major market correction where the whole market just crashes and it looks like 1929 all over again, which, who knows. In that case, if it happens, I'll be buying Rocket Lab, left and right. I'll be stocking up. But I do think as far as, my price target, it's going to be over 20. It's definitely going to be over 20. I mean, it already hit that mark. It's going to retrace. It's got to retrace. So I do believe it is going to retrace to above 20. It's already previously hit that mark. There are several price targets that have been released where, some people have said 18, some people have said as high as 30. With all the possibilities ahead, this is going to be $100 stock one day. It could be in the next 5 years. It could hit $100 in the next 5 years. This is something that I plan on buying and holding for the long term. This isn't something I'm going to swing trade. Everybody has different trading styles, and I'm not going to knock those people that, do want to, trade on momentum or swing trade, but I'm an investor, okay? I'm not a trader. I'm not a day trader. I'm an investor. And when I invest and I pick my stocks, I pick stocks that I want to hold for at least 5 years, you know? That's kind of like my timeline that I look at. I ask myself, okay, do I think that this stock is going to be way more than what it is now in the next 5 years? Realistically, you know? And realistically, with that kind of company, with upcoming catalyst, you know, like the reveal of Neutron, you know, the eventual launch of, you know, that constellation that they got with the contract, you know, just possible human spaceflight down the road. Yeah, hands down, I really think Rocket Lab has a lot going on for it. So until next time, let me know what you think about Rocket Lab in the comments below, and click the like button if you are currently invested in or plan to invest in Rocket Lab, and let's see how many people are in the same boat. So, till next time, live long and prosper.